I'm Matthew, and this is Jesse. We are Zombait, and we're going to get right into it with our little demo here. Or I guess a video demo. But first, what is Zombait? So Zombait is zombie bait, and really what we're doing is reanimating dead bait fish. The reason why we're doing this is because fishermen want to use live bait, and live bait is hard to keep, and live bait goes to dead bait pretty quickly without any kind of care.
Can you guys hear me on this one? Yeah, so like Matt said, we're two engineers. One of our co-founders is a commercial tuna fisherman, and this is his idea. And basically what he found is, a lot of times I find myself fishing with dead bait, and it's not nearly as effective. And he's like, I want a little thing that I can put inside of a bait fish that'll make it swim again.
You should do this. So we're going to show a video which explains a lot better than we probably can with the mackerel and Mr. Zombie here. You should let this hit the... So this is actually a video that we show on Facebook and Instagram, two fishermen, of a device going into a dead bait fish. This is a bunker. And the device goes in the water, and the fish swims again. Non-volitional movement, they call it. And this is a fisherman who we went out to Newport, Rhode Island fishing with, and he was testing it out. And he liked the fact that the rod kept moving with the fish moving around down there, so... But we show these ads essentially to fishermen around the country, and fishing is definitely more of a obsession, more than so the people identify the fishermen, right? You don't hear guys say, I'm a snore on Facebook, but our target customers are the guys out there holding a big gas on their Facebook picture. Demo on how it works. We have actually a device here which we brought to show off, not one that actually go into a dead fish, but into a stuffed yellowfin tuna right here.
Yeah, so this has definitely been a kind of basement prototyping operation for most of the early part of kind of the company. And, largely the architecture of the device, it is a rechargeable battery. There's a small motor inside there. There's a little eccentric tail that is kicking back and forth. It's very simple. You place it inside of the fish, and it rudders the fish back and forth. Trying to keep a pretty simple execution because people are cognizant of, price and, anything you put in the ocean you can lose, that sort of thing. Additionally, some advanced functionality we have is it does turn on automatically in the presence of salt water. We found in our early iterations, once you put it in a fish, it's like how you turn it on. So we have it. So as soon as it hits salt water, we'll turn it on automatically. There's our little pretend fish here. And it goes, it sounds funny, but one of the big advancements is it goes right in the mouth of the fish rather than doing surgery and cutting it open and putting it on there. It goes right through the opening that it was given by evolution. And after that, you get a nice kicking, wiggling fish that swims through the water.
It's funny to say, this is actually odd for us to demo in this way. Our usual demo involves a dead mackerel in an aquarium. We decided not to bring the dead mackerel here, so thank you. It saves the smell and the hassle of bringing a dead fish into a nice building like this. But yeah, we've actually demoed this at fishing tournaments in Gloucester, Newburyport, Nantucket. And fishermen really like it. It gives them a new edge in how they use bait and takes some of the hassle away from using live bait. Where are we right now? So moving forward, we just launched on Kickstarter. We're about 3.5 weeks in. So if you want to check out our campaign, we're at zombait.com. We got some good press, a lot of fishing publications. We're on radio shows in Virginia. We've been in Bustano. We've got a bunch of other sites, especially fishing oriented, that were kind of featuring us. And the fact that we're New England based, we have the Bangor Daily News did a press on us too, and we're looking to raise money to get into production, so to get it out of my basement, which is in Medford, and get it into a shop that actually can make these much more reliably than Jesse and I can after work in the evening.
Yeah, so we're basically kind of our next step is we have a lot of prototypes and they've sort of demonstrated a lot of functionality and interest and that sort of thing, and moving towards actually our first run of production and kind of getting through the kind of headaches of that sort of thing is kind of what we want to take on next. And of course, there's a bit of a financial hurdle there. So we're looking at crowdfunding and looking at, kind of whatever revenues we can to kind of get us to that, to that point.
Yeah, we're looking for help to get the word out. So if you know any fishermen that might be interested in this, let us know. We're also interested in, bringing hardware products to market. This is obviously a hardware product, and, we know quite a bit about the cost of goods sold for this product, but there are a lot of hurdles to get a product in: regulatory, logistics, supply chain. And if anybody watches the National Geographic show Wicked Tuna, this guy over here is actually on the show. He's one of our fans right now. He might become more, but his name's Dave Marciano. He's a worldwide fish celebrity, seriously thing.
So I open up to any questions you guys have.
Don't take this the wrong way. This is the most interesting, creepy concept that I've
We've got more video coming, don't worry.
But here's, so a quick question and then the real question. How much do these cost?
Right now we've got them on Kickstarter for, I believe, 54.
Now, I'm not a fishing person, unless going into a supermarket. Don't fish sometimes, big fish, break away and you lose your investment? I mean, how is there a thought about
retrievability, for sure.
Yeah, so, I mean, great question, and probably the number one question. You know, one of the other things, how much does it cost, and what happens if I lose it? You know, as far as kind of the price point, you know, you can go out there today and buy a lure for a large fish that's $50, $60, and it's a piece of plastic with a hook hanging off of it. So it's definitely the kind of thing that people try to put the best thing out there that they can. Anything you put in the ocean, you don't know that it's going to come back. We do want to try and give people the best shot at getting this back because it is a bit of an investment. What we do is, you know, a fish can get chewed up and torn up, and we don't want that to be the only thing keeping this device to your line. So what we have is a feature on there that allows you to actually tether it back to your actual hook. So you have your hook, you have a very strong line that's actually fight a 600-pound tuna. And then you have a small monofilament that goes from this device to that hook. So you have sort of a secondary kind of safety line that's going to try and keep this thing coming back if that fish, if its flesh, aren't enough to keep it on. So,
and we're going to make them tough too, so I mean, they're not going to be made out of cheap material. They're meant to stay competing. And we actually have even prototypes that are in a balloon right now. We had a bluefish bite one and bit the back end off a fish, and there was the device still in the fish going back and forth. So the goal is to make them strong and retrievable, not weak and cheap and disposable.
in the back?
All right, you got a great product, but what's the sustainable development as far as environmental? What's the regulatory on, like, you know, the fishing industry, folks live, we eat fish, you know, it's a food, we eat food. So now you're putting like a mechanical device as bait. What is there any regulation on that as far as sustainable development?
As far as regulation, I mean, like, it's kind of in that sort of drone zone where nobody really knows what to think about the emergence of technology in all these new places. The concern is absolutely real. I mean, you don't want to be putting something into a fish that's going to really harm it. It's a tough question to answer and find data on because not that many times are you intentionally putting something with, you know, lithium into something that's living. There is some precedence on it that's going on. You're finding more lures that do little things, like there's a product called Twitch Lure, which simply has an eccentric motor and vibrates. I think one of the most important things is making sure that the components of the product that are potentially harmful are well sealed and over a long enough lifespan, even if ingested, are not going to leach out and that sort of thing. It's definitely something that we're trying to learn more about and understand. It's not something there's a lot of data on. Lead weights, those sorts of things are other examples of things that have been studied before, and there's been legislation on what can and can't be done. So it's a great question and one that we're learning more about every day.
We've been talking to our partners manufacturing about different kinds of resins and sealants that can go into it to make sure that whatever the environment doesn't hurt the environment, but keeps whatever could be harmful inside. So there are tools out there to do such a thing, and we're going to do everything we can to make sure we're not making any harm more than we have to.
You guys, can you make a really big one so that I can pretend to catch a really big fish?
You might need diesel.
Have you thought about a promotional contest? See who can catch the biggest fish with this thing next spring, maybe?
It's a great idea. You know, right now we build them in the basement, and anyone they're going out there is kind of like our, elbow grease to get them out there. And one of the most important things is to get more of these things going out is to get a first production run. We want to be able to make these reliably and at high quality. After that, the sky's the limit with the kind of stuff we can do with promotions. And we had an idea of, send us your bait fish and we'll reanimate it. You ship us a frozen fish and we'll.
We literally have guys every day on social media being like, I need some of this now. And we have guys in Louisiana right now that have prototypes. Florida, I mean, people just really want to try this thing. It's kind of got that catchy appeal to it.
So are the people trying it primarily commercial fishermen or primarily hobby fishermen?
Say a little bit of both. The idea came from a commercial angler, somebody who fishes every day for tuna. He's got a few other boats too, but we imagine that anybody who really wants to catch big fish could benefit from using this.
Do you have any data on your product versus a live bait? like which is performing better?
So an A/B test is absolutely something we want to get going. One of our co-founder is a tuna fisherman, and tuna is not great for statistical significance because sometimes you catch 5 a year. And so we kind of want to do that with maybe some of the more common species, striped bass and that sort of thing. But kind of having when we did go fishing, we were engineers about it. We had live bait here, we had dead bait here, we had zombait here, and kind of unfortunately no tuna came by and it didn't matter. But
I had a shark bite one.
Yeah, we had a shark eat. We had a shark eat the zombie, so that was cool. But great, absolutely top line for us as well. Okay, last question.
About the back.
Yeah, what's the shelf life? Do you have any idea?
Well, it's going to have a battery can be recharged, so the idea is that when you get it back, you're going to recharge the battery and keep going. So you should be able to reanimate many different fish with it. It's not meant for a one-time use.
No, but I mean, 5 years, it's in salt water. I mean, at what point is it really going to be starting to...
Well, yeah, salt water's an awful environment to engineer in, but definitely we're going to make a product which is going to be as least corrosive as possible. So, I mean, it's not in the water all the time, but the idea is you take it out, you dry it off, and it should be good for a long time. We haven't made enough to know that number yet, but, I mean, obviously we got to avoid certain kinds of dissimilar metals and that sort of thing. So.
All right,
That's
thanks a lot.
Yeah, we're going to do a little demo, maybe a booth over here, so you guys want to come talk to us more. You can learn more about Zombait. Thanks.